Greetings everyone and welcome. I'm your host Captain Rye, and in today's video I'm playing in the Tier 9 Premium US Treasury ship Misery here in World of Warships. As the battle gets underway, it's a Tier 9 maximum battle, it's Hotspot, and it is Domination Match Mode. There are carriers in play, and we will see some of them a little bit later, although the carriers are not going to be a major factor, at least on my side of the map. Speaking of my side of the map, I've spawned closest to the A cap point, and the A cap point is where I am going to provide fire support. Now, I've got a friendly light cruiser here, the Seattle, pushing up towards the A cap point, and two friendly destroyers as well. We have our carrier who has spawned back behind us at the A cap point, so that's going to provide us with a little bit of early air power and air detection there, so we will see if there's any enemy aircraft coming in towards us, and of course we will ideally hopefully spot what the enemy is doing coming towards the A cap point. The rest of the team, however, has decided that they are going to head over to the B cap point, or I'm sorry, the D cap point there on the opposite side of the map. So that's going to leave my side of the map a little bit undergunned here. That's just going to leave us the two destroyers and one light cruiser as well as myself. However, we do have an advantage here on this side of the map because we've got not one but two radar capable ships here. So if the enemy is going to bring its destroyers to the A cap point, we should be able to spot it pretty well. Speaking of being spotted by enemy destroyers, the Seattle obviously spotted by enemy destroyers. There's the enemy Mahan, who is wisely opted to sit behind that island. That's a little bit of a problem there, and it does look like our friendly Jarvis over here is currently being detected. Now that is likely going to be due to the radar from the Buffalo there. Now the Buffalo, Tier 9 US heavy cruiser, rate of fire's a little bit slower than the Seattle. Well, okay, a lot slower there, but those 8-inch heavy armor-piercing shells can be a serious problem if you're not careful. Additionally, the 8-inch high explosive going to set a lot more fires there. Enemy Akatsuki popped up there briefly, so we can assume that there's probably torpedoes in the water through this channel towards us here. So I'm going to go ahead, take a wide turn around the Seattle and push up here, bow on, hopefully to avoid any torpedoes, and that's when we spot the torpedoes, but also when the Seattle decides he's gonna back up into me. That's unfortunate there. If he had actually turned the other way, and something that you want to do is, if you know that there's a destroyer's popped up, you suspect torpedoes, turn nose in towards them. Narrower profile, harder to hit. Fortunately, the Seattle there does avoid getting hit by any of those torpedoes. I am currently being detected over here. That's a little bit of a disappointment. The Jarvis has gone all the way around the side of the island and is currently engaging the enemy Akatsuki, and that is going to be a problem for him as a Tier 8 destroyer versus, I think, a Tier 7 destroyer here. And the Akatsuki, look at all those torpedoes out there. He takes out our destroyer in a first blood. That's going to leave my team a destroyer disadvantage, especially against an Akatsuki, but it's also, more importantly, going to leave my team even more limited on this side. At this point, what we can see here is that the enemy team has two heavy cruisers, a York and a Buffalo, so a Tier 7 and a Tier 9. They have at least one battleship back over here as well in the form of the Scharnhorst. Now that is only a Tier 7 Scharnhorst, but he's got some pretty damn thick armor thick enough that my 16-inch guns, depending on how he angles, are not going to cause a lot of problems for him. Basically have to peck him to death with these guns. So if he's smart, he'll actually come around and he'll start challenging the Seattle instead. Also, again, as mentioned, that Tier 9 Buffalo, very, very problematic. Plus, we know they have two destroyers in the area, the Akatsuki here, who has popped up, and of course, the Mahan as well. So they do have a numerical advantage over here. But we're two Tier 9 ships versus what they've got, which I think is two Tier 7s, three Tier 7s, a Tier 9, and a Tier 8. They have taken a points advantage here. They have killed another destroyer, so now they really do have a destroyer advantage 3-2. We did take out one of their destroyers, which is good for us, of course, And now I'm trying to get shots out onto one of these ships. The Scharnhorst is giving me broadside, so I'm going to shoot at him. The Buffalo angled the way he is, probably not going to do much more than maybe ricochet and an over-penetration. So not going to risk it. Unfortunately for me, it looks like I completely missed the Scharnhorst. I don't know how. Did that, but did. And the Scharnhorst is actually firing high explosive at me. Not the best option for him. Instead, what he should be doing, again, is using the armor piercing that he's got with those 11-inch guns and focusing down the Seattle. Why the Seattle? Light armor. The 11-inch guns are likely not going to over-penetrate on the Seattle, and he probably could get some very, very effective citadels. Get my rear turret off at the York that's in the cap there. Try to reset it, but as you can see, very little reset change there, so that indicates to me that one of the enemy destroyers, probably the Mahan, is definitely up there for sure, and is detecting our friendly destroyer here, who, not a lot of health there. Getting hit by the high explosive there, both coming in from the Scharnhorst and, of course, from the Buffalo. Luckily me, the Buffalo is now back behind that island. In the meantime, my team has all of the ships, other than us three, and the carrier effectively at the D cap point. But the enemy team is pushing the D cap point, and they're currently in the progress of capturing it. They've also captured the A cap point, so they're going to have 3 caps here. And my team, even though we're currently at a points advantage, that's not going to stick around very long unless we can force them out of that location. And we should be able to, because we should have a ship's advantage back over there. Now, given the situation, I've decided that I'm going to try and sneak around the back side of this island, although not very sneaky of me by firing my guns, and try and catch the York and maybe that Mahan off guard. But as we can see, the York is actually pushing through the channel here. So I'm going to force them to split their firepower. And that's not going to be good for the Seattle, because that means he's isolated all by himself way up north. But the Seattle, smart player, he's just going to keep kiting them. Friendly destroyer gets deep water torpedoes off. Unfortunately, those would have been perfect to hit the Akazuki, but they're deep water torpedoes. Enemy Mahan pops up, he pops a smoke screen, and that's going to be his mistake here. He's going to try and hide in his smoke screen. Remember, this is a radar-capable ship, 9.5-kilometer radar, and so this guy really has no option as he sits in a smoke screen. I do have manual secondaries on this ship, so I flagged him for secondaries, waiting for my guns to reload. Hopefully I can get shots into him. Friendly destroyers also putting shots into him. I suspect torpedoes, and sure enough, here they come. And folks, this is why you never fire a widespread there, because the widespread, I only got hit by 1, and the second spread, I'm not going to get hit at all. Take shots with my main battery, miss him, unfortunately, didn't correct enough for him changing direction. He takes out our friendly destroyer, but my secondary guns get last shots off just as my radar expires, and they finish him off. And that's when I decide I need to turn back the other way, as the enemy Buffalo, who has all of the health, starts coming through this channel. Now, I don't want to engage the Buffalo directly at this point, because he's got more health, because he's a heavy cruiser. His armor piercing, if I give broadside, can citadeling me and cause me problems. Enemy Akazuki pops up here. He is in line of sight for guns. Fire off main battery, flagged him for secondaries, but main battery is enough to take him out, so that's another enemy destroyer dead. Now, my team has a ship's advantage. Unfortunately, neither team no longer has a destroyer, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. It does mean now that our cruisers and our battleships are going to have to get up there and cap. Hopefully, though, this Buffalo will not try and chase me around the island, then nope, he's going to chase me around the island. That's unfortunate for me. He is close enough, though. Flagged him for manual secondaries. York not quite close enough there. Gonna try and help the Seattle, though. And the Seattle's doing a pretty good job here. The York, being a tier 7 cruiser, doesn't have a heal. So I fire off shots at him. Hopefully I can finish him off or cause him some problems. Didn't quite finish him off, but left him on no health at all. So the Seattle's gonna take him out in the next salvo for sure. In the meantime, gonna have to focus on the Buffalo. Now, the Buffalo's firing high explosive. This is smart on him. I'm angled pretty well, but again, if I give him broadside, he can penetrate me. So I have to stay angled as much as I would love to get around this island and use it for cover. Now, this Buffalo, though, he's got a problem. He can either beach himself and lose his firing solution on me, or he can give broadside, get his rear turrets up on me, and go around the island. He gives broadside, and I take the advantage with a triple citadel, finishing him off for a dev strike. And now, the enemy team is down to just 2. Somehow, with a numerical inferiority, definitely had the tier and tactical superiority over on the A side of things. The team cap point, the team at the D cap point, taking their numerical superiority and finally pushing through and winning. And their Seattle that's back over there has about half his health left, but look at that. We've got a St. Louis that's full health. We have a Baltimore back over there. That's not going to go well. Enemy CV still using his fighters, still trying. He is going to succeed in shooting down some planes there, but look at this. As he flies over, even though I've taken a lot of high explosive damage, I've lost a lot of anti-air and dual-purpose 5-inch guns here. Never a wise idea to fly your planes over the Missouri. So those planes are gone. We know, looking at the map situation, the last known location of the carrier, hard to say if he's still back over there or if he's completely relocated, but our CV is scouting. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and secure the A cap point for the team. At this point, we are up on points, but look at this. There's still 9 minutes left in the game. And even though the enemy team is down to just 2 ships, one of which is low health and one of which has now been spotted, neither team has actually managed to breach 800 points. Luckily me, the Seattle is well out of range. He can't reset me, so I'm just feeling free here to open fire on this Essex without worrying about being reset. I'm going to be able to take this cap, no problem. Plus, as I always say, if you are in a battleship, your guns are pointed in that direction, and an enemy carrier pops up in your gun range, might as well take shots at it. Of course, it also helps. He's now the last player left alive on his team. He's the only thing I can shoot at. Missed my first shots there, but this friendly CV does manage to connect some torpedoes. That's going to be a problem for him. Of course, friendly CV coming in with fighter coverage there. He's going to easily intercept those torpedo and dive bombers well before they manage to reach me. So, going to continue to push forward, closing the distance with this Essex carrier because I seem to be having problems hitting the guy at these kinds of ranges. He is maneuvering hard, though. So every time I fire, he changes directions, slams on his brakes, something. That's causing me a lot of aiming issues. Additionally, him being at that particular angle also causing me some aiming issues. And as we can see there, those shots, look at the scattering on those shots. Yeah, those weren't aimed very well, although they did connect, surprisingly enough there. There's my Confederate award to go with my Dev Strike and close quarters. 91,000 damage done in this game here. At this point, realistically, as we see the rest of the team closing in on him, we've got another battleship there, the Leon, or the Lion, and at least 2 cruisers, all shooting at him, and our carrier pushing in. He's dead. He's easily going to die in this match. It's just a matter of, can I get more damage done? And as those shots prove, probably not. I managed to ricochet off that carrier. Again, though, he is turning hardcore. Now, the camo on this ship is something special. It's a Measure 22 camo. They don't let you have it for regular US ships because, as you can see by the watercolor and the camo color, it is very, very effective at blending the waterline into the water. So if you get the Missouri, use this camo. It's superior. Enemy CV manages to take out, or our friendly CV manages to take out the enemy CV there with some torpedoes and finishing them off. Somehow earned a dreadnought in that game as well. That's good for me. Completes some of the tasks there for the Halsey campaign. 91,000 damage done in that game. 3 citadels, 3 ships killed, 1 base capture, and 1 base defense ribbon. Top of the team for XP earn, though. Not sure how I managed that at 2,097 base XP, almost 2,100 base XP there. Carrier in the top 3. Overall, a very good game, and nobody on the enemy team managed to break 1,000. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by following me on Facebook, especially do so if you're interested in getting live pictures from my Texas trip. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.